Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and welcome to part 2 of our Commander Spotlight covering all the legends in Ravnica, City of Guilds. In case you missed part 1, you can click on that little tab on the screen, that'll bring you right to it. In this video, we're tackling the second half of the Commander, so strap in and get ready for the ride of your life, if you enjoy Commander and Ravnica, of course. Alright, let's do this. Tolsimir Wolfblood is 4 of anything, 1 green and 1 white for a 3/4 legendary creature elf warrior. Other green creatures you control get +1/+1, other white creatures you control get +1/+1, and you can tap it to put a legendary 2/2 green and white wolf token named Voja onto the battlefield. To put it as simply as possible, Tolsimir is a go-wide Selesnya commander. Despite the fact that you can only create a single 4/4 wolf friend at a time, Tolsimir is all about going wide and wrecking everyone with a giant buffed-up army. His real value? Those anthem effects. Giving +1/+1 to every other green and white creature you have, that adds up real quick, especially when creatures are both green and white and get +2/+2. We double dip it all day, let's build this up. Since Tolsimir is a creature buff machine, we need creatures to buff, specifically white and green creatures, which is why the deck includes favorites like Wolfbriar Elemental, Master of the Wild Hunt, Avenger of Zendikar, and Tristani Summoner, just to name a few. The goal is to poop creatures, then let their newfound strength lead you to victory. Of course, we're Selesnya, which means that Populate is going to play a big role, like a huge role. Tristani is in here, V2 Guild Mage certainly, growing ranks, doubling season if you haven't sold your firstborn yet, the usual. There are plenty of creature copying cards to choose from. Step 1 is getting some solid creatures on the board, Step 2 is copying them to Kingdom Come, and Step 3, well, that's pumping them up so much that nothing can stop them. The goal is to make every individual token a menace. True Conviction, Dictate of Heliod, Johnny Goldmane himself, Eldrazi Monument. Your opponents will probably have a way to deal with a mass amount of small creatures, but a mass amount of big ones, unless they have enough wrath spells to keep you down, you will stampede over their faces. Just make sure to include enough protection. Rootborn defenses, heroic intervention, stuff like that. Once you got all that, you're ready to mow everyone down. Now here's the thing about Tolsimir. He's a pretty great commander in a vacuum. When he isn't being compared to other Selesnya commanders, he's awesome. The problem? Risk the Redeemed and Tristani Selesnya's voice. Both of them are solid green-white token commanders. Now, if you want to make your deck more about massing non-creatures, Tolsimir is your dude through and through. Before you decide to build Tolsimir, figure out what you want your 99 to look like. Then choosing between our elf friend and, say, Tristani will be a little easier. It's a great card either way, though. Agris cost Wojek Veteran is 3 of anything, 1 red and 1 white for a 3/3 legendary creature human soldier. Whenever he attacks, attacking red creatures get +2/+0, and attacking white creatures get +0/+2 until end of turn. You know how a lot of players talk about how much Boros commanders are the same? Agris does not help with that image. He's clearly all about attacking, and even though he does distinguish between white and red creatures in a cool way, he's still going to get built like most other Boros hit-you-in-the-face commanders. Naturally, if you're going to make a deck designed around Agris, you have to put extra priority on creatures that are both red and white. It's the only way to take advantage of him as your commander, so keeping that in mind, let's see what we can do. We have to start with the best of the best, which means we're going deep on red and white together. Legion's Initiative in, Balefire Liege in, Boros Battleshaper, Belligerent Hatchling. It's a pretty good start. Red-white multicolored creatures, and just cards in general, tend to be very powerful and straightforward. Because we're focusing on the most multicolored creatures possible, Foundry Champion will likely make the cut, as will Sunhome Enforcer, Scourge of the Nobilis, and our good friend Ajani Vengeant. As you can see, this type of deck is based on powerful red and white cards. Again, there isn't a lot of depth here. It's mainly picking your favorite cards in both colors, looking for creatures that benefit from Agris, then wrapping it up in solid Boros support. I wish I could give you more, but Agris is not all that unique. Let me explain. Being unique and Boros isn't easy to do in Commander. A lot of the commanders created in the color identity gravitate toward the same thing: attack, attack, attack. From Iroas to Gisela to Adriana to Tajik and more. It's all about attacking, which means that when you pick your Boros commander, you need to pick the right subtle flavors for you. Want to go big? Aurelia. Want to go wide? Tajik or Adriana. Love artifacts? Jorkadine. The only thing that Agris does better than anyone else, buffs red-white multicolored creatures during attack. So if that's what you want, Agris is your guy. Savra, Queen of the Golgari, is 2 of anything, 1 black and 1 green for a 2/2 legendary creature elf shaman. Whenever you sacrifice a black creature, you may pay 2 life. If you do, each other player sacrifices a creature. Whenever you sacrifice a green creature, you gain 2 life. It should not surprise you to know that Savra is the most popular commander we've looked at so far in this video. She isn't all that subtle either. She's all about sacrificing, and since she's in black and green, you can imagine how well that deck comes together. Very well, in case you were wondering. The goal of the deck is to absolutely demolish your opponent's board state to the point where not a single creature can exist. Imagine a death cloud on the entire game. That's Savra's goal. Let's jump right in. Since we're building a sacrifice deck, we need creatures to sacrifice. Good places to start: Endrick Sair, dude never ends up dying. Creekwood Liege is a strong continuous producer. Ophiomancer, same thing. That snake you create is never going to survive. And From Beyond is a wonderful addition. Creates little Eldrazi Scions for you every turn. These are obviously just a few examples, but you get the idea. Making sure you have a steady production of creatures is important because the next step, well, that's sacrificing them. Yahenni is a new and popular addition to this strategy. Make sacrificing creatures easy as pie. Perilous Forays is a great way to trigger a sacrifice and get some land. Attrition kills your opponent's creatures when you sacrifice. And Big Daddy Butcher of Malakir means business. Speaking of, we have plenty of cards that just wreck opponents when you sacrifice. Grave Pact and Dictate of Erebos lead the way. Then when the dominoes start falling, you have Blood Artist to hit your opponents, Ogre Slumlord to refill your ranks, Mazarek to get beyond huge, Harvester of Souls to never run out of cards. I mean, the options here are near endless. You produce creatures, sacrifice them, then take advantage of sacrificing them by hurting everyone else. Savra will make you an enemy at the table real quick, but you're going to have a lot of fun while everyone else actively hates you. Savra is 100% an amazing commander, and if you're running a sacrifice-based Golgari deck, she's a wonderful leader to your undead army. However, that doesn't mean she doesn't fit in well elsewhere. We're talking black-green and sacrificing, so we have to talk about Meren of Clan Neltoth. I mean, Meren is one of the most popular commanders in the history of the format at this point. If you want to run Savra, but you don't want her leading you to battle, you almost couldn't do better than Meren. Steep drop off after that to Gerard, but if you aren't playing Savra or Gerard, you're probably playing Meren. Or you're in an additional color, see Atraxa or Shattergang Brothers or Sekuar. All of those are for other videos though, so we're going to move on. Sadek, Lord of Secrets, great name, is 3 of anything, 2 blue and 2 black for a 5/5 legendary creature vampire with flying. If Sadek would deal combat damage to a player, instead put that many +1/+1 counters on Sadek, and that player puts that many cards from the top of their library into their graveyard. At first glance, it looks like another Dimir Mill commander, and sure, that is how you win the game, but you go about it a little differently than what we're all used to. While including the classic mill spells is always a good idea, the priority on a Sadek deck should be on Sadek. If you're going to run him, then utilize his Snowball Mill ability. Put priority on cards that make sure Sadek can get through unharmed so you can mill your opponent super quickly. I'm thinking Whisper Silk Cloak, the obvious Lightning Greaves for protection, Aqueous Form, Rogue's Passage. I'm talking real Dimir stuff here. Cards designed to sneak damage through. Weirdly, the deck is half focused on mill and control and half focused on keeping Sadek alive through ridiculous amounts of equipment. Almost like a Voltron build, to be honest. Let's explore it a little more. Think about it, he doubles up on damage each time he's supposed to deal combat damage, which means that Double Strike makes that even worse, increased power makes it even worse, everything that makes a normal creature stronger just makes this guy mill your opponent faster. That's why you can get away with Loxodon Warhammer, or Sword of Vengeance. Imagine Sword of Body and Mind, hilarious, friggin' Fire Shrieker. We can run that, Sadek can run that. Welcome to the middle ground of 2 different worlds. It's like Sadek went to Kemba and asked to borrow all of her equipment. If you're sick of running a 100% mill deck and want a little flavor in there, something even slightly unique, Sadek has your back. If he's nothing else, he's pretty unique. Now, Sadek leads just fine, but if you want to play him and have him in your 99 instead, it's super easy. Dude slots right into Phoenix or Mirko Vosk really well. If you want more focus on mill and a little less on the commander, Mirko Vosk is a good compromise. He doesn't have to be as in your face as Sadek does to get the job done, but all solid mill commanders. And that's going to do it for the other half of the Ravnica City of Guilds commanders. What do you think? Do any of these stand out to you? Any cool strategies come to mind? If I missed something big, or you just want to add your 2 cents, please leave your thoughts below and we'll talk about it. These videos are meant to be spotlights, overviews. So again, let's have a chat. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the channel for more content as we move through the week. And as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. We looked at some pretty sweet commanders again today, and I have to say Savra made an impression on me. You can imagine how excited I was when I found out she was $2.60. $2.60. For a pretty popular black-green commander, I mean, she's in a lot of decks. If you need Savra for either her own commander deck or another black-green deck you're brewing, now is the time. So cheap it's insanity. Just click the link on the screen and enjoy.